I'm going to be teaching you the HTML basics. So over here, last video, I asked you to install a couple of softwares. You can only install just one of them. So for CodePen, you just basically create a project. Now for brackets and Visual Studio Code, the really cool thing is it's an offline IDE. Now meaning of that is you can code without Wi-Fi, which is really cool. So say you're going camping one day, you just code. So I'm using Visual Studio Code. So how do you get to the coding part? So you want to create a folder on your desktop, and over here you're going to click File, Open Folder. You're going to open that one folder, and you're going to start coding inside. So over here I made a coding example just for you guys. So over here you're going to just double click, New File, index.html. Alright, so it's loading. Now let me just give you a little background what HTML is. So HTML consists of two parts, a head and a body. Now in the head you can create the tab name, you can insert bootstrap links, which I'll be talking about later. You can insert Firebase links, Google font links, all that type of cool stuff. Now you must always link your style sheets and your JavaScript. Now when the computer is gonna execute the code and you don't link them, your JavaScript and your CSS will not work. So you always need to link them. So a really cool thing about Visual Studio Code is you're going to do exclamation mark, enter, and it's going to make the head for you. There you go. Alright, so I'll be linking style sheet and JavaScript in the next class. In the next video, In the next video, I'll be talking about CSS. So over here, this title is a tab name. So I'm just going to do it. Alright, HTML example. Now, the body, technically, you can make a couple of things over here. So over here, the body is where you add the elements. So buttons, labels, images, etc. The CSS is where you do the styling. And the JavaScript is where you do the code. So today I'll be making three things. I'll be making a label, I'll be making an image, and I'll be making a button. So what's going to happen is the label will say this image is not visible. The image itself will not be visible, and the button will have show on it. So when you click show, the image will be now visible, and the text at the top will change to say the image is now visible. So let's start. So now for HTML, this over here, this is an opening tag. This over here, that's a closing tag. Now we want to create an h1 tag. So you might be thinking, what is h1? So h, and the higher the number is, the font size is going to be lower. H, the lower the number is, the font size is going to be higher. So over here, right there, image is not visible. Alright, so now a BR tag will technically give space between two elements. Alright, so let's go over here. It's going to create an image tag. Create an image. Right, we're going to create an ID equals just I. SRC, that stands for source. Alright, so an image does not require a closing tag. So I'll get the image source later, so another BR tag. Go button. Type button. Right, so I did a little mistake over here. Go ID, I'll go btn. On click. So this is a function technically. So on click is when you on click the button. I'll do show, and you must when you do on click, you must do brackets at the end. This identifies that this is a function. Otherwise, in the JavaScript, when you code for it, it will not work. Alright, so close tag. Now we're gonna show image. Alright, over here. Alright, so let's get that image source quickly. So I'm a huge fan of the Avengers. Avengers over there. Alright, so let's just go to the images. Oh, my Wi-Fi is really slow these days. Alright, so let's just get this one. Alright, you're gonna double click, you're gonna copy image address, get over here, RC, paste. Alright, now that's it for the coding today. Tomorrow I'm going to be linking the style sheet and the JavaScript in the head, and I'll be teaching you CSS. So if you're a little confused, I'll just walk you through it. So the head right now is where we link it. Now the body, we're adding the images, the text, and the buttons. That's really it. Now you always must add these little triangle tags. If they don't have a little slash, that means it's an open tag. Over here you can see there's a slash right over here. That identifies that as a closing tag. And in between you can write your text according if it's an h1 tag. And just remind them at ID, say text. That's it. So HTML is not that hard. I'd say JavaScript might be a little harder. I will walk you through that one. So thank you for watching today's video, guys. See you next time.